Abhishek Bachchan completing 20 years in Bollywood, and I thought I'd discuss him because he's an interesting character and he's done well for himself. You know, most people when they think about him, they obviously think about Amitabh Bachchan, they think about Aishwarya Rai, but for me, it's the very first memory of him when his first film Refugee was coming out in 2000, or Uska or Kareena Kapoor ka chehra, they were not showing in the promos. Kafi hafton ke baad we got to see how he looked like, and that was a mystery and a quite an interesting anticipation that the makers had built up before his first film's release. Or Refugee itni chali nahi.
आ तो गए हो, पर टिकोगे नहीं.
उसके बाद कई फिल्म्स आई, वो भी नहीं चली. तेरा जादू चल गया, ओम जय जगदीश, ढाई अक्षर प्रेम के, कुछ ना कहो. You know, they all came from 2000 to 2004, and it was quite a struggle for Abhishek Bachchan because he kept coming in big films. मैं प्रेम की दीवानी हूँ, and you just think that yes, this film will do well, and it didn't.
तुम फिक्र मत करो, हम कुछ चक्कर चलाते हैं.
क्या चक्कर चलाओगे राकेश? सारे चक्कर खत्म हो चुके हैं.
It wasn't until 2004, जब धूम release हुई, that he had arrived.
अगर वो तेज हैं, हमें उनसे भी तेज होना पड़ेगा.
And that was the first big clean hit film that he got, and after that was a pretty good period that lasted for about 5 or 6 years. He delivered some big decent films. Dostana was a hit, Bluffmaster I think was a semi-hit, Bunty or Bubbly was the second highest grossing film of 2005 if I remember correctly. Or Pa jaisi film aayi, he obviously came in Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna, but the flops were also regular.
मैं बड़ा होके बहुत बड़ा एक्टर बनूंगा, मेरे हजारों फैंस होंगे, दिन रात मेरी फोटो खींचते रहेंगे.
हाँ, obviously वो तो हुआ नहीं.
If I look at films like Khele Hum Ji Jaan Se, I think that's the title he came with, Ashutosh Gowarikar, then Ravan, that was a big budget film that flopped, Mani Ratnam. One of the other films that did well was Sarkar during this time, and I remember at the peak when I was thinking that okay, this film's gonna really take him off. Jhoom Barabar Jhoom, the songs were really amazing, you had a decent star cast, but that film flopped as well. So it was a mixed bag, you know. You had films like Bol Bachchan towards the end, 2010-11. You had Happy New Year, those films did reasonably well, and obviously had the Dhoom series going right through as well. One interesting fact is that he's worked with all the three Khans, Salman Khan in Fir Milenge 2004, Shah Rukh Khan, Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna, or Happy New Year, and Amir Khan in Dhoom 3. So, he's held his own when it comes to starring with big actors. He's also worked with a number of top directors from Suraj Barjatya to Karan Johar, Ashutosh Gowarikar, Ram Gopal Varma, Mani Ratnam, JP Datta, so many. One really thinks that if he delivered so many flops earlier on in his career, would he have carried on if he was an outsider? Well, probably not. But at the same time, I think the audience was a lot harsher on him, Agar uski first few films dekho to they were not that bad. I remember I really liked this film that Anupam Kher directed, Om Jai Jagdish. I just don't know why it flopped. It was a pretty good film and well polished. But, the audience at that time was unforgiving. Fardeen Khan, Beat House film mein, or obviously Abhishek Bachchan. I think the era that he came in was a very tricky era. There were not many films that did well in the first decade of this millennium, or it was quite tough to survive. You had actors like Salman Khan that wasn't doing that well. You had Akshay Kumar, Ajay Devgan, even these actors weren't really these big superstar heroes. The only ones that were doing well were Hrithik Roshan, Amir Khan and Shah Rukh Khan. Outside of that, there was really not much room. Or footfalls had decreased, there wasn't much buzz. Cinemas were cropping up, the audience were trying to find their way. So I think it was a very tricky decade to be part of. The only actors who survived, obviously, the newcomers are Hrithik Roshan, John Abraham, and I forgot this guy's name. Come on. Shahid Kapoor. And Shahid, he's just delivered 3 or 4 big films in his career, but otherwise it's full of flops. So quite an interesting dynamic. In the last 5 or 6 years, we haven't seen much of him, but we haven't seen much of any actor outside of the big three, Akshay Kumar, Salman Khan, and say Ranveer Singh. You've not really seen content from actors. They're only doing one film every 1 or 2 years. But Abhishek has a strong lineup. He's coming in The Big Bull. I think that's one film. I'm really interested in Breathe, the television show that might start next month. The reason why I'm very interested in it is because the first season was amazing, and having Abhishek Bachchan, I think he's going to play a negative role because Madhavan played a negative role, and then you had Amit Saad who played the cop. So I don't think it's going to be a positive role. I really want to see him in, if he is in a negative role, how he plays this part. And I think there's another film, Ludo, but that's like a multi-star film that he's coming in. So he's got a few things lined up, and it'd be quite interesting to see how he reinvents himself. Is it going to be another phase in his career, the fourth phase, if you look at it, or is he just going to be one of those other actors who just gives solid performances? From my side, yeah, I think he's done well to celebrate 20 years. Let's see what he does in the next 5 or 10 years, where he gets to in terms of performances and content, and let's see how we remember him in the next decade. I'll see you guys in the next one.